The most shocking videos, discoveries in give video game period? Video games have
Sometimes you find
periods?
something in a game so shocking you think, yeah, I'm done with this one. Oh, looks like I got some factor. Nice. Maybe I was a little hangry. I'm a huge fan of factor, right? The trying actor Dark Advanta, the evil witch from Bean Bean Kingdom, and now whenever Peach tries to talk, explosives come out of her mouth. And this might be what happens to Nintendo if they saw a discovery that was recently data mined from the files of the game. When the original demo of the game was leaked in 2023, a full 20 years after Superstar Saga's release. With it came a number of interesting discoveries. The most shocking one involves this animation for Queen Bean of the Bean Bean Kingdom, which in the final game looks like she's crossing her arms and shaking them. However, in the game's demo, the animation instead showed Queen Bean, how do I put this? Pushing her beans together. Well, there's something I didn't need to see today. The most likely explanation for its removal is probably developers remembering who the target audience was supposed to be.
Dude, I missed this.
Metal Slug 3. Thanks to Trent for submitting this discovery through oddheader.com. Metal Slug 3 is a run-and-gun side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game released in 2000 for the Neo Geo arcade system, which has been re-released on mobile and a number of home consoles. As you make your way through the game shooting enemies and defeating bosses, there are two spots where you can rescue the monkey character Utin from its cage, who assists you in getting a few shots in. Unfortunately, Utin may be more distracting than helpful, as he doesn't have very good aim and he often stops to pick at bugs on the ground or eat bananas that he pulls out of his diaper. And apparently bananas aren't the only thing Utin is packing, as if the player were to idle on the screen long enough, occasionally when he goes to pull bananas from his diaper, he'll pull out something else banana shaped instead. And yes, they show the entire thing, which obviously we're not going to be able to show here, but honestly, you probably don't want to see that in the first place. AI, the Somnium Files. Thanks to Marie Delmare for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader Discord. AI, the Somnium Files is a mystery adventure game released in 2019. In the game, players take on the role of Special Agent Konami Date as he tries to solve the murders of a suspected serial killer with the help of his AI assistant Ava and his fake left eye. Ava's abilities include helping Date x-ray scan his environment, as well as use a machine to enter people's dreams and find information that the subjects either don't remember or won't tell him about. However, in 2021, players made a discovery in the game that even Ava's powers can't fully explain. As in the Sinking in the Vein Dream World segment of the game, Ava looks inside an oil drum which is normally pixelated so we can't see what's inside, though it appears to gross her out and some bullets come out when we tip it over. The curious player who wanted to see what was inside the oil drum used a free cam mod to get a look inside and found, what the? Seems like Date has another murder to solve, as there's a dead body inside which appears to have been cut up into pieces in order to fit in the container. Well, now we know what grossed Ava out, but the only question is, why did the developers try to cover this one up? There's already some pretty detailed depictions of other crimes in the game, and lots of dead bodies, so it's not like this game tries to cover up gore. And if this dismembered body was cut content they were trying to hide, why bother putting the blur over it? Wouldn't it be faster to just remove it from the game? It seems pretty suspicious and hard to piece together, literally. The only remaining questions at this point is whose body is this, and why were we never meant to see it?
Wow.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Pokemon fans probably knew the series would be showing up here on the channel soon, as developer Game Freak was recently hit by a huge leak of over a terabyte of game data in October 2024, appropriately being called the Terra Leak. The leaked data includes cut content and pitches from past games and movies in the series, including some discoveries from Diamond and Pearl that were probably never meant to be seen. In the leak, hackers found a long, elaborate cut backstory that explains the origins of the world of Pokemon. The story reads much like world creation stories from different areas of the world, with parts that seem to be inspired by Chinese, Egyptian, Norse, and Greek mythology, among many others. Wow, and like ancient mythology stories involving gods, the Pokemon creation stories involve some pretty crazy shit. They all revolve around the Pokemon and humans descending from two shared ancestors, a mother and father named Aya and Iya. The human and Pokemon all live in harmony, until humans forget about their friendship and fight each other, starting wars and destroying the planet in search of riches, killing Pokemon along the way. Peace is eventually restored by the gods, but in between, a lot of non-kid-friendly things happen between the humans and the Pokemon. Included in the stories is a man having a baby with an Octillery, a boy who marries a female Ursaring, who's then heartbroken heartbroken when his brother kills and skins her, and another pack of Ursaring who revolt against the humans hunting them by killing them and burning down their village. In one story, a young girl is tricked by a Typhlosion to go into his cave and lay down with him, then gets her pregnant and says she is now his wife, before going to battle with her dad and getting killed. The girl and her child are then bullied for the rest of their lives by the townspeople and forced to wear the Typhlosion's fur. In another f***ed-up story, a woman and her friends torture and kill Slackoff just because they're bored, until the Slackoff get revenge by capturing her and impregnating her with one of their kind, and has to watch as her friends horrifically kill her Slackoff child. It appears the leaked Pokemon backstory can only get crazier from here, as there's still large parts of the text that haven't been translated from Japanese yet, or more likely whoever's been translating the leaked data has given up because they can't handle being traumatized any further. At this point, there's only one thing left to say. What the f***, Game Freak? Suki Adventure. Thanks to Hoxie for submitting this mystery through oddheader.com. Suki Adventure is a very casual mobile game where you check in on your rabbit friend Suki, who's recently quit his corporate job to live a life in the countryside. The whole thing is made to be extremely wholesome and relaxing as you do different random things like flying a kite or shopping for groceries so you can add them to your diary. However, Hoxie found some items in the files of the game that are anything but wholesome and relaxing. For example, they found an item called 45 that appears to be a pistol. What the? When was Suki planning on using this? The description of the item even states, whoa, what is this? I'm scared. I don't like this. Even worse, Hoxie also found this item called glassware. That's definitely a pipe. This time the description reads, what does it do? Don't do it, Suki. The strangest of all, though, is an object called Mistake, which appears to be a bunny in a jar. This time the description reads, silly bunny, what have you done? Who will answer for this abomination? God won't. What the hell? Hoxie searched for months about what the meaning of these items could be, but hasn't found anything. The items are listed on the game's wiki under exclusive/unattainable items, but without any more information. They are underneath a banner that says the items were given out as part of the official Discord art contest, but that appears to have been a mistake, as what looks like actual Discord fan art badges are just a couple spaces down. And Hoxie and I couldn't find any evidence of these being a part of some sort of art contest, although if they were, the kind of prizes were these? Siberia 3. Thanks to Daniel for submitting this discovery through oddheader.com. Siberia 3 released in 2017 as the third installment in the beloved classic adventure game series. Unfortunately, Siberia 3 may have ruined this memory for fans, as critics called it a buggy mess they could barely get through, with a story that some feel ruined the previous games in the series, which is hard to watch, as the animations of the characters' mouths moving with their lines is really bad.
I'm Dr. Olga Efimova. I don't care who you are.
In addition to all of the problems already plaguing this title, players made a discovery in the data of the game which made things even more problematic, as in the files of the game, data miners found a model of the game's main character, Kate Walker, missing anything that would keep her warm in a place like Siberia, to say the least. This discovery makes no sense, as Kate is obviously never featured like this anywhere in the game. In a cutscene where she has to change her clothes is a simple outfit swap off screen, without there being any need for a nude model at all. Looks like we know what went wrong with this game. There's certainly a lot more the developers could have focused on than just Kate's assets. Harvester. Thanks to Queen Hall Sarah for submitting this discovery on oddheader.com. Harvester is a point-and-click adventure that I covered in my very first video for being one of the oddest video games of all time. The game released in 1996 for PC and took aim at opponents of video games by parodying their claims about the effects of exposure to simulate violence, which in turn instantly sparked controversy with the game even getting banned in Germany. In Harvester, you play as Steve, who wakes up in a strange 1950s Midwestern suburbia called Harvest, with no idea who you are or how you got there. Every character you talk to appears to be insane, as you fulfill a set of increasingly violent and bizarre tasks in order to get into a secret organization inside a mysterious building called the Lodge. However, players made a discovery in the game that's more disturbing than anything found in the Lodge, which is saying a lot. In the game, Steve talks to his mom, who's perpetually in the kitchen baking cookies for a charity bake sale, and throwing them away because she can't get them right. Players can click on dialogue options to interact with her, but there's also hidden keywords that can be unlocked by typing in the dialogue box. By typing the word f***, Steve's mother says this.
What a thing to say to your mother. Was that an invitation now that your father is out of action?
What? By selecting yeah, how about it, she says this.
Maybe later, dear. Right now I have housework to do. Though you can watch if you want.
What the f***? Yeah, I think I'll pass. If you can believe it, Harvester fan Lodge Level 4 discovered something even more shocking when he obtained the game's original script in 2016. Lodge Level 4 revealed there were many things from the script dated 2 years before the release of Harvester that didn't make it into the final game, such as the fact that players would have originally found the character Mr. Potsdam nude in a meat locker, but the developers decided to cover him up with a pair of pants so poorly drawn you can tell they saved this change till the last minute. Also, in the earlier script, Lodge Level 4 found that when typing in the F word in the scene with your mother, she would have originally said, "Naughty boy, don't give me ideas," and then would have proceeded to cook in her underwear. And just when you thought this couldn't get any worse, Lodge Level 4 found another hidden keyword in the script that was previously unknown to players 20 years after the release of the game. In the script, he found the keyword dominatrix, typing the keyword in the final game. She says this:
I don't even know what that word means. Ask your father if you don't believe me.
Of course, players familiar with the game know that's a lie. Unbelievable these Easter eggs were snuck into the game and went undiscovered for so many years. And now I'm fully unsettled. Though not as unsettled as I'd be if somebody found the original version of this scene without the poorly drawn pants. The Dark Eye, Chains of Satanov. Thanks to Lauren Hughes for submitting this discovery on oddheader.com. The Dark Eye, Chains of Satanov is a classic-style point-and-click adventure game released in 2012. In the game, the kingdom of Andergast is infested with crows that are attacking everyone and causing them to have nightmares. And the birdcatcher Garen must go on an adventure with the fairy girl Nuri to save the world. The game received good reviews for sticking to everything that made old-school adventure games great, with a charming story and beautiful hand-drawn art style. And like classic point-and-click adventures, Chains of Satanov also included obtuse puzzles with solutions that don't make any sense. However, one of these puzzles hugely surprised players and apparently even the developers. In the puzzle, Garen helps the character Izida fix the broken wheel on her wagon, and in return she gives him the key to go inside. Unfortunately, Izida ends up attacked by enemies outside the wagon, but apparently that's not any of our protagonist's concern, as players found by combining the puppet head in your inventory with the magnesium and then rubbing it on some curtains. This causes Nuri to walk over to Garen and gets her head real close to a certain area of his body. What follows is a surprisingly long cutscene using existing voice lines elsewhere in the game, where Nuri gets into the bed without her clothes. Garen leaves to get some supplies, I guess no longer concerned about the enemies outside, and then comes back and jumps into bed. After that, we hear some commotion as they have some fun together. It ends up sounding exactly as you'd expect.
Nuri, what are you?
But whoops. Honestly, I don't think I have to explain why they made that decision.
I'm not trying to...
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe.
Oh,
if you know of any more
my
shocking
bad.
discoveries in video games later removed from the game. Whoops is right, because
The target.
before the scene
But faster too!
and Garen to get angry that things don't go faster.
And could you do that somewhat faster too?
And Garen says
The first shot has to hit the target.
before the scene ends up with Nuri saying,
Whoops!
Whoops is right, because this Easter egg was so shocking that it ended up later removed from the game. Honestly, I don't think I have to explain why they made that decision.
That's pretty funny.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And if you know of any more shocking
Subby, I'm not sure if we're gonna, the music, Ooh.